Everybody talking about this real estate settlement is wrong. There's a ton of misinformation out there, largely due to major news outlets not knowing what the hell they're talking about, and then that info just propagates throughout every nook and cranny of the internet. The main point that I think needs addressed is that sellers can't pay buyer's agent fees anymore, and that's just false. They still can, folks, and to illustrate how it'll work, Spider-Man and Beasterine, couldn't find Wolverine's head, are going to help me out with a little stop motion action for you. The recent past of the near future.
Hi, listing agent Beasterine. I would like to sell my house. How much is your fee? That's great, seller Parker. I would like to sell your house. My typical fee is 5%. How does that sound to you? 5%? That sounds like a lot. Why so much? Great question, seller Parker. I understand that 5% sounds like a lot, but not all of that is going to me. Half of it is for my fee, with the other half I'm going to offer it to pay for the buyer's agent of the buyer who wants to buy your home. So 2.5% goes to me, and 2.5% goes to the buyer's agent, and this just lets everyone know what the fees are up front and where they're coming from. Does that make sense? Yeah, I remember not having to pay for my buyer's agent fee when I bought the house, and that was great to not have to worry about that and still be represented. I get it. So does 5% sound good then? Sounds good. Where do I sign?
The near future.
Hi, listing agent Beasterine. I would like to sell my house. How much is your fee? That's great, seller Parker. I would like to sell your house. My typical fee is 3%. How does that sound to you? That sounds great. Way better than it used to be now that it's against the law to pay for the buyer's agent. I'm glad you brought that up because that's a misconception that's been going around. The NAR Settlement doesn't make it so sellers can't pay for the buyer's agent. It just makes it so that there's not a set in stone agreement that we are paying for the buyer's agent. The sellers can still pay for the buyer's agent fee, but the amount is now part of the contract negotiation for a buyer to purchase the house. Does that make sense? So you're telling me that when we get an offer on the house, a buyer can still ask for me to pay for the buyer's agent fees? Yep, it's just now part of the negotiations along with the price, closing costs, inspections, closing date, everything else. So I still have to pay the buyer's agent then? No, not necessarily. It is a negotiable item, but don't focus on this one item. Consider all of the terms and what's ultimately important, which is the amount of money you'll end up with in your pocket. And we're going to try to get as much as possible there. Okay, but not paying the buyer's agent fee, wouldn't that get me the most possible? That might be the case, but by being unwilling to pay for any buyer agent fees, you're likely decreasing the size of your buyer pool, which will probably end up causing a longer time on the market with price reductions. If you end up paying a buyer's fee of 2.5% and get full list price, that's more in your pocket than being on the market for 2 months and having to do a price reduction of 5%. You end up with more in your pocket. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm still paying the buyer fee of 2.5%. That's a bummer. No, hold on. The buyer and the buyer's agent will include the amount they're asking for in their offer. It could be 2.5%. It could be 1%. It could be a flat number like 10,000, or it might be nothing. No matter what is offered, we want to see how it plays with the other details of the offer. These numbers matter only in how they impact how much you net, how much you put in your pocket when this is all said and done. So we want to plan and expect that paying for a buyer agent fee might be part of what is needed to sell your house, but it isn't an inevitability. Okay, that makes sense. Your fee is 3%, and we'll just negotiate through any buyer's agent fees for each offer that comes in. You got it. You ready to sign? Totally. Wait, would you go 2.5%? Oh, now you got it. I suppose I will, but just this one time.
There you have it. Beasterine and Spider-Man clearing it up that sellers will still be able to pay the buyer's agent fees, but it'll be part of the negotiations. I hope that clears things up, and you can submit any questions you have to Beasterine in the comments. I'm Charles Richardson, your friendly neighborhood realtor here in Cheyenne, Wyoming.